Okay, I think we can slowly get started. We'll probably wait just a couple of minutes for more people to join. But in the meantime, good morning, good evening, or good afternoon to all of you, depending on where you are from. Let us know in the chat where you're from, drop the name of your city, or country, or continent, so we can get to know each other a bit more. While we wait for more people, I have two small disclaimers. This event is being recorded, so if you want to rewatch it again, it will be available at a later date. Probably on YouTube, if I recall correctly. We will share all links after the event finishes. Also, captions should be enabled, and hopefully I will speak clearly enough so they will work correctly. Okay, I see people are joining. Hello from the UK, from Portugal. Hello, hello everyone. There are 24 people. Shall we wait for a couple more minutes? Yeah, just to get some coffee and get some more people. There's also Axel from Sosnowiec. Hello. Okay, there are 30 people, 31. Hello, I think we can proceed now. So let's go to the next slide. I'm your host today. Very nice to meet you. My name is Artur, and I am a senior graphic designer at Jacob Solutions, where my job is to basically a bit of everything in terms of graphic design. And in my free time, I am also one of the leaders of Friends of Figma Kraków. And I'm half of the graphic design team at Friends of Figma Kraków. The other half is my friend Lena, my partner in crime, who is also here with us. She's moderating the chat room. And Friends of Figma Kraków is our little project, our initiative that started around one and a half year ago. It has been a very productive time for us, very intense, very wonderful at the same time. We have had 5 events so far. All of them were in person. We worked with different firms like Backbase, like Zendesk. We had networking sessions. For all of our events, we had around 15, 20 lessons, power talks, and presentations. This year, a couple weeks ago, we also had our first, and hopefully not last, config watch party, which was very successful, very warmly received. We ate a lot of delicious food and watched the stream together. Hopefully we'll do that again next year. Our team is a team of wonderful 5 people and 3 amazing volunteers that help us a lot. We're graphic designers, UI, UX designers, sorry. We have a professional event manager among us and photographers. And now with this event, we are also going virtual, as this is our very first 100% online event. So fingers crossed that everything will go well. At the bottom of the screen, you can see our social media and our Friends of Figma page. If you happen to be from Kraków or live near Kraków, we really invite you to join us for our future events in person. And this virtual event is not a standalone event. It is part of a larger initiative, which is Friends of Figma World Tour 2025, which is a 24-hour long continuous stream of events, of sessions, presentations, talks, featuring local speakers, local insights, and it is 100% led by the community. It spans all continents, many countries, different time zones, and it shows that together we can do great things. And this has been a very big effort for us in the last weeks. There will be more sessions coming after this one. I will talk about this later, and Lena will definitely post a link to the World Tour website so you can learn more about this. So this is everything, I think, regarding the introduction. Now I can introduce you our speaker. And today we invited Patryk, who is a senior UX product designer at Backbase, which is a firm that we work with before. And Patryk is going to talk about DevTools for designers and how to become a power user of DevTools and how we designers can use them in the best way in our workloads. Before we start, you can ask questions at any time you want. There is a dedicated section for questions at the bottom of the screen, the Q&A button. So please post all your questions there so we won't miss any single one. You can upvote questions that you find the most interesting. And in order to invite you to ask questions, I can tell you in advance that we'll have a prize for the best question asked. Okay, so this is everything for me from now. I will be back later, and I'm passing the mic to Patryk.
Thank you, Artur. All right, let's begin. So today I am going to talk about DevTools. And in this 30 minutes we have together, I will show you that DevTools are more of a design tool than you may think. And in my 7 years as product UX designer, I've spent most of the time working closely with the engineers, developers, and QA testers. And from that experience, I've learned that the place where we all meet is in the DevTools. Just to make sure that we all know what I'm talking about, let's see how to open DevTools in the Chrome browser. Right, we need to use our mouse for the right click, and from here, click Inspect. That's it. Here it is. That's DevTools. And this one is Chrome, but you can find it in any other browsers, popular browsers like Safari, Firefox, Opera, and so on and so on. So how can you benefit from DevTools? First of all, apart from just checking the code, you can use it for a real-time editing. And for example, for visual inspections, for accessibility audits, and much, much more. If you, like me, you spend a lot of time in Figma. However, often DevTools are much faster options for testing your design ideas, and you can do it directly on a production. So I think it is a perfect time to step away from a drawing board for a moment and go where the product actually lives. And this one might be my favorite thing. We come together and use the same tool. We begin to speak a common language, which minimizes miscommunication between us and leads to more accurate design implementation. And that is what we deeply care about as designers. And ultimately, it means less frustration, shipping faster, and happier teams. Last but not least, AI presents us with new opportunities. Technical knowledge, generally difficult and time-consuming to acquire, is now more accessible than ever. So there's no excuse not to get your hands dirty with a little bit of code, and DevTools might be a perfect place to start. Now, I would like to hear your opinion. How confident do you feel about using DevTools? Please take your phone and scan the QR code. If you cannot use it, if you cannot use your phone, just use the short link. You can also find it in the chat section. I will just give you a few seconds. Let me read the question out loud. When working with DevTools, how confident do you feel? Extremely confident, rarely encounter issues, troubleshoot effectively, very confident, generally know my way around, resolve most problems, moderately confident, perform common tasks, sometimes need help, somewhat confident, basic tasks only, often lost, confused, not confident at all, actively avoid using them, rely on others. All right, let me just give you a few more seconds. Let me read it one more time. When working with DevTools, how confident do you feel? Extremely confident, rarely encounter issues, very confident, generally know my way around, moderately confident, perform common tasks, sometimes need help, somewhat confident, basic tasks only, and not confident at all. All right, let's read the results. I have my second screen open, and here are the results. 31% for somewhat confident, 30% for moderately confident, 22% for not confident at all, 9% for very confident, and 0% for extremely confident. And yeah, I'm happy to see the outcome because I feel that there is a space to improve. And this is exactly what we are going to do today. We will maximize our knowledge about DevTools for designers and increase the number of you confident in using DevTools. All right, so how are we going to maximize this knowledge? I will use my original method known as the GOAT, which stands for greatest of all tips. So what are the goats, you might ask? There are 10 goats in the herd, and those are friendly narrated video walkthrough creatures, basically pre-recorded videos I've prepared for you beforehand with the best tips. But there is more. I've prepared 4 more takeaway goats, and you will find them at the very end scanning the QR code. And one more thing before we start.
Patryk, just 1 second. We can see the browser, no problem.
All right. So it's here. So we'll be skipping the basics today. So I won't be showing how to open or navigate DevTools. Just for you to know, DevTools are disabled in the browser by the default. So to use them, you need to enable them in in the browser. Okay, let me just go back a little. For the animation I created, I just created animation just for this occasion. Look, the goat. And here it is. That's the goats. All right, let's then begin with the first goat. And the goat is use the selector to see element details. So we need to find the selector button. The moment we click it, when we hover over the HTML, just elements in our page, we see an overlay with the details. And those details are like padding, dimensions, colors, accessibility, contrast, and many more information that depends on the element itself. Also, when we hovering like over the element, it also highlights on our right side, right? So then it is very easy to spot. So for us designers, this one is like quite a simple tool which we can use to like at the glance see some very basic information, but also it also allows us to just find the element in the HTML structure. So this one is pretty useful. Goat 2, edit web page like a text document. All right, let's click console. And from here, we need to type document.design mode equals on. And hit enter. And from now on, the web page behaves like a document. So we can just select text, remove it, and type something new. So at the very beginning, I was saying that DevTools, it's also perfect for us as designers to test our ideas, right? So the moment we have some ideas for the improvement in copy, we can just type it and boom, here it is. Goat 3, check how the website loads with slow internet. We need to find network tab. And from here, no throttling or just throttling drop down. And from here, we can select slower internet, for example, fast 4G. And here is the warning that the throttling is enabled. When we click the cog and then screenshots, the screenshots will be taken while the page is loading. So right click on refresh, empty cache, and hard reload. Now page is reloading and we can see that the timeline is filling up. And from here, we can select like a very specific spot. Let's select this one and also move in this timeline, right? So for us, and there are also screenshots as well. So for us, it is perfect tool when, for example, we would like to see what is loading at the very beginning, like say in like first half a second, right? Because this is the time where only the important content should be loaded. So we as designer, we can like perform an audit to see what is going on in there. Or maybe actually quite the opposite. Maybe there should be something important loaded at like the very beginning, but it is not there. You can check it yourself. And with screenshots, you can see what is actually loading, what is like popping up. All right, Goat 4. Make a full-size screenshot of a mobile web view. Let's click responsive mode. And from here, we need to find like dimension for a mobile, for example, iPhone 12 Pro. And here it is. As you can see, the size of the website is smaller for the iPhone. And let's click run more and run command. And now capture full size screenshot. When we click it and save it, boom, it just saves and it's there locally on our device. And let's just open it. Here it is. That's a full-size screenshot. And I know that most of us probably is using plugins, right, for the screenshots. But with DevTools, we don't longer need plugin for screenshots. It is already the built-in, no extra plugins. All right, Goat 5. Disable CSS to review accessibility. Let's click inspect, expand element. This one is Safari, it's not Chrome anymore. And from here, let's select device settings at the very top. And here it is, disable CSS. When we click it, this is Figma website. So without the CSS, it doesn't look as it used to. And when we turn it off, it's boom, it's back. Let's do the same for the W3C website. So here is the page, and let's do the same. So I'm clicking device settings, disable CSS. And as you can see, the web page is still perfectly readable. So for W3C, accessibility is in the roots, right? So for them, it is very important to meet like all the accessibility criteria, even without the CSS. And I know that this one is a corner case, but I know like a real situation it actually happened, and which shows that this one is quite important. So my friend, who is an accessibility expert and working, for example, for the British government, he was doing an accessibility user test. And when they reached the participant apartment, they found out the computer is like so outdated and not like updated that it doesn't support, or it wasn't support CSS, right? So the person was seeing the websites like completely differently, like as we are seeing it, like basically without the CSS. So it's a corner case, but as you can see, it can happen with a real life. And also this tool is perfect just for the audits, right? You can see how the pure HTML is working with your website. All right, Goat 6. Make a screenshot of a single element and preview SVGs. Let's use the selector once again, and let's just find some element I can take screenshot of. For example, this card. And I'm clicking, and here it is. As you can see, it is selected, and I'm clicking run command and capture node screenshot. Let's click it, save it, and open it. Well, here it is. And now let's try SVGs. So let's find some SVG, for example, Figma logo. So let's use selector to find it. Let's click it. Then it's selected in HTML, and we can copy the code, right? So I'm clicking copy element. And we can use an external website, for example, SVG viewer, to preview this SVG, to preview this code. So I'm pasting it, and here it is. That's Figma logo. From here, you can change it, or you can just download it, right? So with this tool, you don't need to use like area screenshots, right? Because always you'll be like losing some pixels left or right. In here, when you are just taking node screenshot, it is always perfect. And this one I personally using very often for like page redesigns when I don't have mockups in Figma for every single detail, and I can just take a screenshot of an element and use it in Figma. Right, Goat 7. Edit styles and force states. For example, mouse hover. Here is a Figma button. As you can see, when you hovering over it, it changes the style. Let's click inspect. and let's find the hover button, right? And from here, we can click hover. Let's just scroll down a bit, and this is the part responsible for the background, and it's fully black. So for the hover, let's just change it to red. So we can type background and red. We can click the color itself, and then you can use the picker to change the color. And yeah, let's just close it and see how it works. Well, yeah, we are hovering over it, and it changes to red. So this one is about editing styles, right? So again, I was at the very beginning, I was telling you that this is a perfect tool. This is our perfect tool for testing your ideas, and you can test your ideas also changing the styles. This one needs a little bit more knowledge about the CSS, but still, with a little bit of knowledge, you can just test your ideas. You can change everything you want in the page. All right, go date. Generate CSS overview. Let's click more, run comment, and show CSS overview. It says identify potential CSS improvements. Let's just click the C2A, capture overview. Boom, it's there, just a matter of a second. And at the very top, we have a nice overview summary. When we scroll down, we have all the colors in the page with the hex code. When we scroll even further, there is a contrast issues. Also, there's fonts with the font size and font weight as well. And when we click it, we can see the element, so we can just know where it is in the HTML structure. And also there's a media queries with breaking points. So this tool again is perfect for website redesigns. For example, when we are looking for all the colors, you would like to download all the colors. Without it, you will need to go with a single element or some external plugins. But we can use this one to just easily capture all the colors, right? Or the fonts. And for example, let's say that we are changing the styling of the website. You can use this tool then to debug it, right? To check it if there is some old deprecated color, some old deprecated font, which is like very difficult to spot. But with this tool, it is quite easy. Goal 9. Use AI assistance. Let's use our more button and run comment. Let's type show AI assistance. And it shows at the very bottom. And let's use selector to find some element we would like to change. For example, those two buttons. And here it is selected. And we can type like some very simple prompt, like stack those buttons vertically, right? No horizontally, but I want them vertically. So then I see the answer, how it can be done, right? But also you can use it to actually apply the change. So you don't need to like change it manually. I will do it for you. And here it is. It is vertical, but for me it's not perfect. I would like to actually have it left align. So again, super simple prompt, left align, boom, it already knows that I want to change it, continue, and it's done. So one slide before I was telling you that you need a little bit of knowledge to actually change the styling. But truth to be said, with this tool, AI Assistance, which is right now like in experimental mode, but as you can see, it works pretty great. You can just use it to change the styling, like very easy using prompts. So I guess it will be still evolving, and even in the future, they will have like more options. And for now, of course, it works not only with HTML and CSS, but for example, also with JavaScript. So that's quite an amazing tool. All right, code 10, run animation in slow motion. Let's use our more button and run command and type show animations. It shows at the very bottom, animations tab, and let's refresh the page. When we are refreshing it, we can see that new card pops up. And yeah, here it is. That's our animation. And we can use this 25% to slow it down. So when we click it, you can see it replays, but now with 25% of speed. Also, we can use the timeline to select like very specific area, and also, yeah, animation is also changing like depending on when you are selecting it. But let's say that actually I would like to have those two texts going together, right? So I'm just moving one, and look, when I replay it, now it goes together. Let's just do the same with 100%. Boom, here it is. And this tool not only allows you to slow down the animation and see how like reverse engineer it. Like very often, at least I have the problem that I'm seeing the animation, but it is so fast that I don't actually see what is going on in there. With this tool, you can slow it down to 10% and very clearly see like what is going on like in steps. But also you can use it to edit. So for example, the one I showed, you can just move it around and play with it. So also you can improve it as well. All right, so that was 10 goats. I have one extra goat, which is save modifications locally. Because I was showing you how you can modify, improve, update, like all those things. But the moment you close the browser, it is all gone. But this is not exactly, the whole truth, because you can do a small trick to save those modifications. So let's use the selector to find an element which we can, back. All right, let's one more time. So let's find the element and let's just change the color of the background once again. So we see that this one is black and we need to find a source file, right? So when the code actually leaves. So we have index file and here it is, the background color, but we cannot change it, right? But we can use override content feature. When we click it, we need to first select a folder where those modifications will be stored. So let's select new folder. Just for this test, I'm just creating a new one, select, and edit files we need to allow for the editing, right? And from now, we can see the purple dot, it means that it is editable. So let's change the black to red. I'm clicking Command S to save it, and let's refresh. Boom, here it is. Now it's red, and when we refresh it one more time, it is still red, right? So with this feature, you can just build the modifications in time, like in days, let's say. So we are just building something, and then when you are ready, you can just show it to the stakeholders, to engineers, to QAs, and you can make sure that it will be always there. All right, that is over from the goats I had, but as I said, I prepared 4 more goats, which are waiting for you. And I prepared a file with actually all the goats presented today. So those 11 and for bonus, in total 15 goats. And to find them, please just enter my social media, Instagram, Patryk Not, and the QR code. LinkedIn, Szymański, again, the QR code. And from there should be a post. I scheduled it. Hopefully it's there. So there should be a post with those bonus goats. And I hope you had as much fun as I did. It's not over yet. I'm here to answer your questions.
That's right. Thank you, Patryk, so much. It was very, very nice. I am definitely going to use some of those tips in my everyday life. And as Patryk said, we are going to answer some questions right now. I see that some people submitted their question, and I'm going to read them from the newest one to the oldest one. So the first one is from Axel. Can we inspect padding and spacing in more detail, and how can we change it?
All right. Yes, we can. There's a box model which you can actually open. I guess it's like computed tab. You can like find it very, very easily. And from there should be like the whole box model. So all the spacings, paddings, margin, and border. And to overwrite it, you just need to find where the styles are. We were actually I was showing you how to edit background, right? So this is the place where you can change it. Just you need to find the correct CSS, which is, I guess, padding, margin, depends on what are you looking for. Sometimes when the browser detects, for example, flex model or CSS grid, then you can change it with UI. There's like a small button which allows you to change it without like coding, right? Without using CSS, just you can click it. Or I think maybe that's the simplest solution, use AI assistance. So if you want to change the spacing, just write a simple prompt and it should work.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, Axel, for your question. Next one is from Angelica. Patryk, you are the gold. What's the best way for designers to use these findings to collaborate with developers without feeling like we're overstepping into their domain?
All right. I believe that some front ends or some engineers actually can feel that we are like overstepping their domain, right? So sometimes maybe it's better actually not to go to them like with a code already prepared, because I can assume, not assume, I'm sure that almost like every time the code won't be perfect, right? So when you tell your engineer like, here it is, I just made the code, right, and you don't need to do like anything, the engineer can be like, well, it is not fully done, I still need to work on that. So maybe it's better actually to collaborate together on the same session with DevTools, so you can just play around, show it what we like to change, also change the code as well. But yeah, don't say like this one is finished, right? This is like a test, right? And this is the improvement I would like to have, and now it's your time to actually shine and do it.
Thank you. And the next one is from Alicia. Can you share an example from your experience where DevTools helped you directly improve product performance or speed up a design change in some corporate environment?
In corporate environment, I don't have an example from the corporate environment. I have an example from the startup. So once we were working on the page redesign, so there was this idea of changing like all the styling, but not just for the website, like for the marketing, logo, colors, like everything, right? And the those examples I showed, some of them are actually I learned like with this project, because I was working on that feature. I was working on that website, and we were like doing a lot of changes. And I was working actually with developers to do those changes. So at the very beginning, I used it was like Sketch. I think it was like a long time ago. So I used Sketch, but later I found out that actually it is easier to work in DevTools, right? Because we're working on a web page. So like all the small changes like we are doing daily was like done in DevTools. So I know this is not like the corporate environment, but more like a startup. In corporate, it might be different, but sorry, I don't have like any good example for corporate.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, are there any tools that is not available in the DevTool but need to rely on a plugin or AI?
Yes and no. I think for the accessibility, you can find many very good plugins for audits, right? You can run also Lighthouse, which is actually built in DevTools, but for like very specific use cases, sometimes I'm using actually accessibility plugins. But one more thing, in the bonus I sent you, there's one more use case I have for the accessibility, and this one is actually what screen readers actually says. So go and have a look.
Thank you. And the next one, can we use the inspector to inspect a JS file?
We can use it to inspect JavaScript as well.
Okay, thank you.
Although, sorry, I'm not like an expert in that, so that's the reason I'm not showing the examples, because I'm focusing mostly on the visual side. But as far as I know, of course.
Okay, the next one, do you use DevTools for WCAG, which I guess is accessibility audits, using, for example, Lighthouse or XCon, or do you prefer another tool?
Yes, so once again, that depends on the case. For some like accessibility audits, there are better tools than DevTools, but for some cases you can use it. For example, disabling CSS and seeing HTML structure. Also, you can just see the HTML itself, so you can see if it's a semantic HTML or not, right? Like, which is quite important for accessibility. You can see hovers and all this stuff. The same is with contrast. Actually, the contrast is the best example, because the contrast is visible at the glance when you're just using selector. You're seeing the contrast, and also in more than one places, DevTool will tell you, hey, the contrast is not right, so just please make the change, right? So for those cases, it is perfect.
Okay, the next one. How can designers use insights from DevTools to facilitate communication with engineers without making them feel like we're overstepping? This is similar to what we had before. Is there some effective communication tips?
Effective communication tips. Yes, I think first thing is to actually work together, right? So to collaborate. By collaborate, I mean like a workshop, 1 hour, 2 hours workshop, working together on a thing. But I've learned that it's better always to come prepared, right? Not to actually spend this hour on changing the things from the scratch. Like, be prepared, have like 5-10 ideas and start from them, because for when you do that, then engineers will feel, well, like this person is prepared, now we can collaborate on the change you would like to make.
Okay, and the last two questions. Have you ever discovered something in DevTools that actually changed the way you design in Figma, like layout quirk, performance insights, or a surprising browser behavior?
Yes, I think it helped me to understand box model, CSS box model, and it helped me to understand how padding works, margin, and border. And the same is for the flexbox. right? So that's part of the CSS, which is responsible how the layouts are prepared. And Figma auto layout, it's very similar to Flexbox. And now Figma updated it to have like part of the CSS grid. And as well, you can use DevTools to investigate how CSS grid works and understand it better.
And last but not least, the question from Agata: what is your favorite password manager?
Password manager, I already know because you probably are seeing in my browser, or maybe not. No, yeah, one password. I love one password. I have referral links if you want. Just reach me DM.
Okay, so we finished the Q&A session. Thanks everyone for your questions. And if we go to the next slide, as I promised, we have a special prize for the best question. I don't know, Patryk, if you already have chosen your favorite one, which one was the most interesting, the most intriguing? And the prize is a $50 gift card that you can use on the Figma store. You can probably get maybe a hat like mine. The shipping is free. And now we will discover who is the winner.
Right, there was like this person, this question was like twice, but the first person asked me how you can actually collaborate better with developers. So I would like to choose that person because of this proactive, approach. And the question was about also about like stepping into their domain.
Okay, so I think it was either Angelica or Deborah, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, we need to check who was first.
Okay, I think Angelica was first, if I'm not mistaken. So, Angelica, check your DMs because Lena is going to slide into your DMs. She's going to send you the QR code card that you can use on the Figma store. Thanks again for your question. And wrapping up, as I said at the beginning, this session is not the only one today. We are more or less in the middle. Right after us, there is Friends of Figma London coming, and they will have a session about the reality of building a product. If you can go to the next slide, you can access it through the Friends of Figma World Tour website that you can find on the chat. Or if you are a Spanish speaking person, Friends of Figma Barcelona are hosting a session about working with content creators and creating content for an audience located all over the world. Before we hang up, I would like to ask you to take part in a short survey. So I don't know if the slides are changing for you. Can you see the feedback slide? Okay, thank you. So you can either scan this QR code or go to the website that Lena is going to post in the chat. This is a very short survey that we would like to ask you to fill. It should take around 1 minute, but it's very important for us. We want to know what went right, what went wrong, and make things even better for the next Friends of Figma World Tour 2026. Okay. Now, the last slide. I want to stress once again that this whole event has been a collaborative effort. This year we have, if I remember correctly, 29 Friends of Figma chapters working on this together. It was an amazing teamwork experience, and hopefully we'll see each of these next year again. Hopefully more chapters will join us and provide an experience that will be even more productive, even more insightful. Thanks again Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your questions. This is all from us, and I invite you to join the upcoming sessions and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you very much.